Well, good morning everyone, welcome to this week's video. This morning I've come down to Picnic Point at the entrance here, and I picked out this location. This was a location I came to several months ago when I did a long exposure video, and I'll leave the link to that long exposure video up above so you can check that out. But this was one of the locations that I visited on that day, and unfortunately on that day we fairly bland and dull skies, so I always thought it'd be good to come back here when I had a reasonable morning. And this morning's not looking too bad. We've got a bit of high cloud on the horizon. The prediction is for 100% high cloud, so we might get a little bit of colour. But the composition I'm going for here this morning, there's a small jetty that leads out in towards the channel, and I'm going to utilise that in my composition and maybe do a couple of long exposures here with the sunrise coming up in the background. I'm just going to move around now, get my camera set up, figure out some composition, and then I'll come back and have a chat to you when it gets a bit lighter. Well, I've just fired off my first shot here in the pre-dawn light, and we've got some really nice illumination of some of this high cloud now. So I've gone for a horizontal composition, and I've got the jetty coming from the right to the left across the frame. I was here actually yesterday morning, but we didn't have quite a nice sky like we've got here now, so my hope is that we'll get a little bit more illumination in the sky. Certainly looking that way, there's a lot of high cloud around today. And what I've been doing is using no filters whatsoever and shooting some long exposures, 40 seconds up to a minute in the pre-dawn darkness, and that's when some of this beautiful high cloud was really illuminated really well. It's starting to darken off now as we're coming towards sunrise, getting quite bright out on the horizon. My shutter speed now is down to about 1.6 seconds at f8. All I did was I basically worked my way around the jetty and just followed the light. Where I was getting some really nice light off to this side, I moved to the other side of the jetty and got some other shots over there. But yeah, just really chasing the light around this morning, working out what clouds were illuminating, and then shooting in different angles and just experimenting with different compositions. And it just gives me so many more options when I go back and do my editing later on this morning. What a beautiful morning to be out shooting some landscape photography. Believe it or not, a couple of weeks ago this entire jetty and this whole corner was underwater with the floods that we had in this area. So it's really nice to see that it's cleaned up really well. The lake's had a good flush out and the water levels receded, and it's so nice to be able to come back here this morning and do some long exposures and capture this little jetty. Unfortunately, a lot of the jetties around this area that were timber in previous years are being replaced with poly or plastic, and this is one of them. This used to be a little old timber jetty and had a lot of character, but unfortunately now a lot of the jetties, due to health and safety, then getting older, they're being replaced with poly, and it's a real shame because it takes a lot of the character away from some of these old timber structures. But nevertheless, just a great morning to be out shooting. Starting to get that illumination on the sky now, and that high clouds really starting to light up with that pink beautiful light. We've got a little bit of cloud out of this direction as well that's taking on some light, so I might even be forced to change my composition and run up and get a shot straight on looking out at this beautiful pink light out here. But so far the high cloud really starting to take on some colour, and just a beautiful morning to be out shooting. Just using my remote shutter release, and I'm shooting 15-second exposures at the moment. I've got a 0.3 graduated filter on, a 6-stop filter as well, just to smooth out the water and give me that really nice colour in the sky. But this top part of the sky now really starting to illuminate and looking beautiful. And I'm going to try and get a vertical up in front of the jetty and take a shot looking across that way. Really lovely sky, really burning nice and pink right the way through at the moment. I'm just getting a shot of the jetty straight on. We've got some really nice high cloud right out in front of it. Always difficult moving around when you have skies like this and you're trying to rush to set up your compositions. It's really easy to get carried away and drop the camera or drop a filter or something like that. So I'm trying to be cautious at the same time, move around nice and quickly to capture the light that we've got here this morning. Just hitting the horizon here now, the light's starting to get a little bit harsh, but I've had a great morning here this morning. As I said, I've been using 6-stop and 10-stop filters after the sun got a little bit higher and it got a bit lighter, but I shot the majority of the shots that I really enjoyed in the pre-dawn light. And it's a good trick for anyone that's starting out. I always encourage anyone to get up and capture that pre-dawn light. It is when you get some really spectacular skies. So just running one with the 10-stop filter here at the moment on that original composition, but sky's starting to get a little bit bright here now, so I'm going to pack up and put my gear together and probably head home shortly. But what a great morning to be out. Well everyone, that completes a great morning here at Picnic Point at the entrance, shooting some long exposures. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget, go down below and give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel out. If you're new to the channel and you like what you see, make sure you subscribe. Tap that notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload my next video. If you've got a comment or a question, leave them below. I'll always try and respond. Hopefully I'll be around shooting some more landscapes soon. I'll see you there.